This is Eye on the Candy, and this is a 6-year-old. He's a 16 two-hand 6-year-old thoroughbred gelding. And this is his second ride out in the field. And in his first ride out in the field, we popped over some of the logs and we were mostly trotting everything. And he was very good. It was just an introduction to being out in the field and a little bit of jumping. And so for this ride, we did pretty much everything in the field. So we did, the little bit bigger jumps, and we really figured out the point of this ride was that he really figured out the balance of coming in the canter. He was good if he came in the trot. If he came in the canter, he was just a little bit unsure of just the placement of his feet, which is fine, and that's totally normal. I think it's easier to sort it out in the big field where you can go straighter, longer, and make wider, more sweeping turns, and you have more time to set up and balance in between your jumps. So I chose to introduce him to cantering over jumps out here in the field. And so this is just us. We came out here, we did a little warm up, walk, trot both directions. I didn't do a lot of warm up because I knew that I wanted the focus of the ride to be, well, I shouldn't say I didn't do a lot of warm up. We walked for a while. I didn't do a lot of flatting before we started jumping because I didn't want to suck up all his energy doing flat work when I knew I wanted to focus on cantering over jumps, which can be a pretty big effort for them when they're not used to that. Plus, it was a very, very humid day in Maryland. So that's the little teeniest log in the field. I always use that one to start because it's the smallest one. And so if you saw, I wanted to trot the log because it was the first one we were doing, and he just put in that little canter step before, which is fine. But I want to make it clear to him that when I want him to trot, I want him to trot. So that was better. And when I ask him to canter, we will come in the canter. So I'm just trying to be a little bit more precise for him in what I expect instead of just sort of he's past the point where all I expect is for him to get from side A to side B. Now we're going to do it in a little bit better way, or a little bit more managed way, I should say, with clearer expectations. I miss quite brilliantly. I left everything in here. I think I might have taken out one or two clips where he put in a silly canter step or something before, and we schooled around and we circled around it for a couple of minutes schooling. But I pretty much left our entire school in here. That was really good. Good boy. So I miss quite brilliantly a few times. He misses quite brilliantly a few times. It's very typical. You're always going to have some misses, even on really well schooled horses. And on a baby horse or a green horse that's not terribly adjustable yet, you're definitely going to have some misses. But that's okay. They need to figure out the footwork when the spot's not quite right, and they need to figure out that they need to sort it out and put in the effort to get it done even when it's not perfect, because it will oftentimes not be perfect. And so his right lead is his more challenging lead. And so I was really happy with how often he was choosing to land on the right lead. And like this canter work we were doing down here, we just did a nice big circle on the right lead because he landed on it. So I just took the chance to school it for a minute. He really did some good work. So my goal here was just to keep coming in the canter and to get it to be as smooth as I possibly could get it. That wasn't my favorite because even though the spot was okay, he just was a little bit high in his pole, a little bit against. So I'm really trying to get him to jump more round. And so of course this is still the beginning. So we are still trying to get on the same page here about the manner in which I would like him to be jumping. There's a nice epic miss on my part. But really good boy just to sort out his feet and continue on. That was better. I would have liked him to have landed rounder. That was a nice jump out of the trot. And he landed in a nice smooth canter, stayed round. That was quite a nice jump out of the canter there. So here he's coming down the hill part. So we're just doing a little rebalancing there, but actually that was quite good. He kept himself together pretty nicely. The horse has a fantastic canter. I mean, it's a really nice uphill balanced canter. So jumping out of the canter is not hard for him. It's just that he is so uphill that we're working on, of course, we're always training the opposite of what the horse naturally wants to do. So he's super uphill, which is great, makes him have a great canter. He jumps really well out of most spots. But of course, we want to train him to be lower with his neck and lower the entire frame and the base of his neck. That was really good. That made me really happy because he jumped it nice and rhythmically right out of his balance and he never came up. And that was pretty good too. This is, I think, right about in our ride when we started really clicking. And then really nice and balanced down that hill, stayed super round and soft. And he's doing all this in a Nathan, the Herm Springer Duo D-ring. So he's very light in his mouth. That was really good over our larger pipe jump. The horse is also just crazy brave. Never stopped or looked at anything. And that was really good too. So we did larger pipe to larger pipe, and then we come down here and I have my larger, skinnier log down here that we schooled over for a minute. So he's not seen this. He hadn't seen the bigger pipes. We do some barrels that he hadn't seen and a coop he hadn't seen. So that was okay. Of course, he came up a little bit. Sometimes with these green horses, he's not seen that jump before and it's skinny and it's a bigger log. So the first time we just needed to get over it. We just needed to get from one side to the other and get that sorted out. And so now I'm hoping that we're going to come back around and do it in a better balance and stay softer and more connected, which he did. That was great. Really good boy. He's a quick study. Oh, I think I have a nice epic miss here to the little pipe down the hill. This was quite hard. I mean, this is coming down a hill. I'm asking him to jump out of the canter, coming down the hill. He's a good boy. He's unfazed by my epic miss and actually stayed quite round. So here we're coming to a little coop he's not seen. He was really super brave. See how on landing he sort of came up a little bit. So now I'm going to work that and hopefully get him to stay softer and more in the contact on landing. And that was better. We got a little bit of a longer distance. Of course, when you get a little bit of the bigger distance, it's a little harder on landing because they land a bit more disorganized. So I came back around to that one more time. First, I thought I would miss at that log once more. That was really good. Just really nice, out of rhythm and balance. The spot was very lovely, and he stayed soft before the jump, over the jump, and after the jump. Okay, so now we're coming to my scary white barrels. He's not seen these before. So again, first time is just we have to get over these barrels. And I sort of did a terrible job of steering him coming over the barrels. That's something that I'm always working on with these green beans. Sometimes I get too focused on just getting over and then I forget to give them good direction on the other side as to where exactly I want them to go as they land. So after we jumped that the first time, I thought, really good boy, and the rider needs to do a better job of directing on the side coming away from the barrels. So actually that was much better. And that was great. What a good boy. He really got it. He figured out a lot in this ride.